Hey guys, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. So a few weeks ago, I filmed a video while I was standing in my apartment complex's pool called Poolside Chat or something like that. And I had mentioned I was going to spend the day in Columbus with my friend Mark, and I was going to see if he could interview me with some questions you would ask me. You asked some great questions, but unfortunately, the diner we went to for lunch was very intimate in scale and would not have been well suited for an interview. And then right after, the weather got really bad. So before going home, before the bad weather struck, he dropped me back off at my hotel. So I figured while I'm on this rainy day layover in Pittsburgh, awful layover, I'll tell you about that later if I have time, I would answer those questions you guys asked me. Now, almost all of them have something to do with my job as a flight attendant, except for the first one and one back here about my cats. They're two of my favorite questions, by the way. All right, so the first question from Jody. Hi, Jody. Um, would you ever get married again? Nothing like asking the big questions first, right? Would I get married again? Short answer, yes. Is that likely? I don't know. I am not dating anybody. I have been on one date in 3 years, 3 years plus. I've been on one date. I don't put myself out there. I don't go on any of the dating apps. I don't have a dating profile anywhere. I don't go out to bars. All I do is go to work and spend time with my cats and go to recovery meetings. And none of those places are really ideal for meeting the man of my dreams. So would I get married again? Yes. Is it likely to happen? I don't know. I'm I'm not sure if I'm the biggest catch, and if I am, I'm a niche product, one could say. I'm obsessed with my cats, with amusement parks. I'm a flight attendant, which has its own challenges and in the time I have available for somebody. So, yeah, would I? Yes. I loved being married. Not to my ex husband, but I loved being married. The word husband was like this golden feather that would fall out of my mouth every time I said the word. It was this lovely little thing of great weight and great value to me. I loved the responsibility and the rewards of being married, but I just picked the wrong one completely. And it was apparently mutual. He had some serious challenges that were not brought to the table before we got married, which is probably a source of a lot of divorces. So, short answer, yes. Long answer, you just got one. Loretta. This is flight attendant stuff now. All right, so Loretta asks, does a supervisor have to sign off when we swap trips? No, in my airline, and I think most mainline or larger airlines, um, the swapping or picking up of trips is done online for the most part. So if I want to swap a trip with someone, we have a section on our Flicka website that we go to swap, and we apply for that swap. And if we're legal for the swap, and there's all sorts of regulations and rules as to when you can work or why you can't work, the swap is approved. But it's not by a supervisor. It's done mainly, I think, right now by a computer. So, no. Short answer to that one is no. Susan, do I travel a lot when I'm off, or do I stay home? I don't really have the funds to do any major traveling. A lot of my coworkers travel all the time to all sorts of exotic locations, and they're peers of mine with a similar seniority, and I don't know how they're doing it unless they're putting it all on credit cards because I know what I get paid, and it's not a lot. And yeah, so I don't know how they're doing this unless they're putting it on a credit card. I do take a lot of day trips. So I will fly to San Diego for the day, San Francisco, Boston, New York, Tampa. Mostly because like Tampa and Orlando and San Diego, but I won't be doing this again, is to go to amusement parks, either Busch Gardens or SeaWorld. I love those two parks. I don't want to spend the money to go to Disney. I haven't been to Disney in 42 years, and I'm really not in a hurry to go. So I take day trips. I would love to go on a cruise. I would love to go travel somewhere luxurious, but I have rent to pay. I have cats to take care of, and bills to pay. So yeah, I take day trips. Um, Most frequently to Tampa and Orlando for amusement parks. Although I do want to hit New York and Boston before it gets too chilly. Today's date is October 3rd, so really before Thanksgiving, I want to hit both of those places. Let's see. Joe Cipher, what customer experience did I have, customer service experience, prior to becoming a flight attendant? Most of my experience was retail to a degree. I was in fine jewelry, and when you're in fine jewelry, there's a lot of conversation. It's not just like, oh, well, here, I'll buy those earrings. There's a lot of conversation about the intent or the need or desire or the emotion surrounding a piece of jewelry or an event to celebrate. So there's a lot of really, a lot of conversation, a lot of interaction has to happen over fine jewelry. No one walks into a store and decides to buy a $15,000 bangle, because they're in a mood. So you really have to kind of get in there and invest your time in building a relationship with those clients. I was a makeup artist off and on for about 15 years. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but I can be pretty fabulous. Um, I was going to go somewhere with that, but I won't. And to be a makeup artist, you do have to have some interpersonal skills. There's an intimacy with a makeup artist that you are going to have naturally. And for off and on for about 6 or 8 years, I worked in optometry. In the end, I was a lead buyer and lead sales for a luxury optical shop in Boston. And you'd be very, very surprised at how much intimacy, again, sharing that has to happen when it comes to even picking someone else's eyeglasses out. Because, my first question to a potential client is, how would you like people to perceive you? Not what style do you like, but how would you like someone to actually perceive you? And that was always the best way to lead into that kind of idea. Same thing with cosmetics. How do you want to be seen? Let's see. So that was most of my customer service experience. A lot of retail, but always really sort of intimate. Let's see. Angela, how long after an online interview will it take to hear back from an airline? That really depends. When I filled out my application, I think it was the next day or 2 days that I got the assessment to fill out. And then I want to say it was 2 days later, I got an email from my airline suggesting I go to my face-to-face interview. Other airlines, and my own airline, it can take months. It can take a couple months. But other airlines, I know, is it Fly with Stella? I want to say when she got her job, I want to say it was probably more than a year. She talks about it in one of her videos. It took more than a year, I think, between the application and her actually going to training or something. So it depends on the airline. It depends on the airline's needs and how often they hire. So for smaller airlines, it's probably faster than larger airlines. But her part B to her question is, does the adage, no news is good news, still apply here? Yes. Unless you got an email or something, a communication from the airline saying, no, thank you, we're not interested, you're still in the running. So practice your patience. You're going to need it as a flight attendant. But no news is good news. All right. Jen asked, what have I learned as a flight attendant that helps me when I travel outside of work? Now, I think the short answer would be situational awareness. So as a flight attendant, situational awareness is everything, especially on, for example, a red eye. We go through the aircraft, we're supposed to go through the aircraft, one of us every 10 minutes or so. not to just pick up trash, but to make sure everyone is okay. There could be some sort of medical event happening, or there's some sort of human trafficking happening, or something could be happening on the aircraft. So you want to be up and about and making sure that you're aware of what's going on the aircraft and communicating that to your crew if you find something, a red flag or something. But situational awareness as a passenger, if I'm in a seat and it reclines, my airline does not recline. Um, I'm not going to just sit back and push a button and flip back without being concerned about the person behind me. When I'm getting up to use a lavatory, am I making sure that the seatbelt sign is turned off? Did I lock the lavatory door? And when I get my bags out of the overhead bin, am I being careful not to hit somebody in the head? I did that once. Um, and it was in uniform. It was awful. I didn't hit them hard. It was a tap, but it was definitely unwelcome. Um, I shouldn't have admitted that. So situational awareness, so that I can be a good passenger to the people around me. So I hope that was a sensible answer. Don't tell anybody I hit someone. It wasn't a big hit. It was like a little tap. But Ms. Rinrin, hi, how are you? Would I ever collab with other YouTubers from my airline? Yes, I guess. I've never been approached. There are a number of flight attendants with my airline that have a YouTube channel. Most notably, Allie, um, Hunter, Hansa. There's a couple others as well. There's a bunch of us. For a small airline, we have a fairly large number of YouTubers. Um, but yeah, I would definitely collab with one of my coworkers. I wouldn't know what to do. They all have much more experience collaborating with other flight attendants, but I'm not quite sure what that would look like. But I would certainly love to do that. That would be a lot of fun. I've met Hansa and Allie in person. I'd love to meet Hunter in person. He just seems adorable and super, super sweet. So who knows? Let's see. Southern Crazy Daisy. Now, I have to tell you, not just specifically Southern Crazy Daisy, but I have the best subscribers ever. As I say these people's names, their own stories and their own personalities pop up from their comments or their interactions or their emails or how they've contacted me in the past. And just saying the name Southern Crazy Daisy makes me happy, as most of my subscribers do. So just a little shout out to all of you guys who subscribe. But she asked, what is one of my guilty pleasures? All right, so I have two. One of my guilty pleasures is my annual pass to Busch Gardens and SeaWorld. It is 300 and something dollars a year, but for the platinum pass, because for all the parks that SeaWorld and Busch Gardens own. And so I go to Busch Gardens in Tampa all the time, all the time. I will way get my money's worth out of just going to Busch Gardens in Tampa. And I've discovered that I love SeaWorld in Orlando. I really, really love it. I'm coming to understand their conservation efforts. I still would like to see their pools being larger. I could see them getting rid of dolphins and whales, and I would be fine with that. But their rides are awesome, and the park itself is awesome in Orlando. The SeaWorld in San Diego, no, thank you. Did not like that park. But the other guilty pleasure would be cat treats. I know that wouldn't be a surprise to lots of my subscribers, but I spend an inordinate amount of money on cat treats. One particular type of cat treat, and I do kind of hoard them. I wouldn't even, that's not even a joke. I think I hoard them. I always have at least 10 or 15 packages of these cat treats. So my cats, they were all strays. Oddly enough, they're all very, very picky. There's lots of things they won't eat. And they were starving at one point, right? There's one dry food that they'll eat, a Purina Tender Selects. It's like a teal aqua bag. It's like $14 for 7 pounds, I think. And they universally, all three of them enjoy it actively. They enjoy it. Thank goodness, because I have not found another dry food that they will eat. Any wet food in a can, they will lick the gravy off the food, but they won't eat the food. But I found a cat treat. I think it's made by Hearts. It is called Delectables Squeeze Up. Do you know what Go-Gurts are? Those the yogurt tubes that are like this big you give kids? It's like a Go-Gurt, but for cats. And it's not yogurt. It's made of like chicken or tuna or whatever. But the chicken is the most easily available for me. So there's four little tubes, four, not this, four little tubes in a package, and a package is $2 unless it's on sale, but I almost never see it on sale. So it's $2 a package. I probably go through 3 packages a day. I know it sounds like a lot, but I open up a package in the morning as sort of a little breakfast treat. Sometime midday to keep them entertained, especially Eleanor and Claire. Buddy likes to go out, and I use that treat as a way to get him back in the house sometimes. And before bedtime, to kind of give them all a little final little full tummy, so they'll sleep through the night. I will give them some treats at nighttime too. So I go through 3 packages a day when I'm home. I probably spend $100, 120, maybe more a month on these cat treats. This is a really long answer to a very simple question. So yeah, I spend a lot of money on these cat treats. They're super hard to find. I can only find them at Vons, this grocery store near my apartment. And they only have them periodically, so I buy all of them when they have them. And I also have an automatic subscription from Chewy and from Amazon coming in. Because if I have less than 4 or 5 packages of these treats, I get uncomfortable because I don't know what I'm going to have for them in the future. They love these treats. I will squeeze a little bit on my finger. I will give a little to one cat. I'll lick it off my finger. I'm surprised I have a fingerprint on this finger. And I'll just give them each a little bit. And I call their name each time I give it to them. And they all know their names. They all respond to their names. All of them will come to me when I call their name. Buddy, when he's in the mood, because he's very self-centered. But these treats have been a wonderful tool in forming a really tight bond with me, with them, teaching them patience with each other. It's really been a fantastic tool. So when I run out or run low, I get very anxious. So those are my guilty pleasures: amusement parks and cat treats. This probably goes back to the first question in terms of would I ever get married again. I think this one answer would probably cull me from most guys' contemplation. Like, who's gonna marry that guy, right? Whatever. I have my cats. I don't need a man. All right. So speaking of cats, Cat with a K asked a number of questions. They were all good. First, do I ever grab a meal at the airport? What do I recommend? The only time I ever really buy a meal at the airport is for breakfast, since I really have a hard time packing for breakfast, and I don't really wake up with enough time to actually eat at the hotel room, excuse me, when we have an early show. So typically if I buy a meal at the airport, it's going to be a breakfast item, and that's either whatever they have. If there's a Wendy's, I like their breakfast sandwiches. I think they're pretty yummy. Dunkin' Donuts breakfast sandwiches, that's what I'd recommend. Let's see, what's my favorite fast food place? My favorite fast food place in the world is a place called Jollibee. Now, if you are in the East Coast or in the middle of the country, you've never heard of them. But if you're West Coast, you might have heard of them. It's a Filipino fast food joint. And I think, yeah, I love them. The fried chicken is delicious. They have this very strange Filipino spaghetti, which the sauce is kind of sweet. It almost makes me think of Franco-American kind of. The pasta is very soft and dense, like an udon noodle almost. The sauce is kind of sweet, tomatoey, ketchupy. and there's pieces of chopped up hot dog. I don't eat hot dogs, but for some reason, um, hot dogs. But if it's chopped up in that sauce, I'll eat a few bits of it. But my favorite thing at Jollibee are the peach mango deep fried pies. I could eat my body weight in these little pies. Let's see. Do I share my meals with my cats? Now, if you heard me say earlier, there are two questions here that have really nothing to do with work, and there are two of my favorite questions. This is one of them. Do I share my meals with my cats? Yes. Well, I offer my meals to my cats because they're always curious about what I'm eating. So I will always take some of what I'm eating and I will offer something to each of the cats because they'll individually all come up while I'm eating. If it's cereal or crackers and cheese or whatever I'm eating, they all want to know what I'm eating. So I let them all sniff it. If they want to lick it, if they taste it, I'm still going to eat it because they're not going to eat it. Even if they taste it and go like, oh, no, I'll eat it. Now, if somebody, a friend, a family member, were to take a sip out of a water bottle of mine, I would say, oh, no, 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 finish it because I find that really disgusting. Skivvotes. But if my cat were to lick something, I'd have no problem eating it, which is very strange and probably one more reason I'm probably never going to get married again. So yes, I do offer my meals to my cats. They have really never eaten the food that I offer. Eleanor is the funniest because she makes this face like, oh, she literally pulls away as if, how could you think about eating that? Buddy, he tastes things once in a while. He actually ate a piece of pepperoni once, which shocked the heck out of me, but he wouldn't eat any more of it. Let's see. Do travelers stop and ask for help when I'm on my way to my gate? Yes. I think we're in uniform. All they see is my airline, and they're in need of assistance or guidance, and frequently enough, they ask. I think part of it also is that I'm tall, I'm a big guy, a male. For some reason, people look to some guys. I think it's patriarchy, but it still happens. And I'm older. I've got this big white beard. I think I typically look approachable when you need help. And so it happens all the time. Many flight attendants will kind of hide once you're at the gate. If there's any seating that's behind the gate, that's where you'll find most flight attendants. I don't mind standing out in front waiting for the gate agent or something. If someone asks me a question, I want to make sure that I am the right person to answer, because if it has anything to do with the flight while it's on the ground, so many things can change. The gate might change, the time might change. So many things are variable when it comes to airlines that the gate agent or our guest agent is best able to answer most questions. But I do like to be approachable. If they ask me a question and I know the answer and I know it's correct, I will answer the question for them. But if someone comes up to me at our gate and they ask me a question, I'm going to promise you, everyone within 15, 20 feet is watching the result of them asking for help. And I want the people who are going to be boarding my plane to see me as being a helpful person. And so I try to respond to questions with patience, love, and tolerance, even if I'm tired or irritable. So yes, people do approach us at the gate. I don't mind it. Some people, especially super, super senior people, sometimes they're just like totally over it. And sometimes they'll kind of, hide or not go to the gate when there's a lot of time before the flight. Let's see. Last question, sort of. Do last minute passengers cause delays? And part B is it annoying? Well, no, they do not cause delays, because when boarding boarding is complete and all of our guests are on board, and we can leave, I think we can leave up to 10 minutes early if boarding is complete and everyone is on board. We're not waiting for any passengers. But at a certain point, I want to say it's 10 minutes before departure, that door closes. Door closes. We used to close the door earlier, but and there were a lot of cases where people got stuck in security or for whatever reason couldn't get to the gate in the time that we allotted. And when that door closed, they were out of luck. So to have better customer service, we've pushed that time back, allowing a little bit more time for people who are struggling to get through security and such to get on board. If we have a family on board and dad was getting stuck in security, I don't want to close that boarding door on dad, leaving him in Las Vegas while his family goes off just because the door closed. So I'm making this answer longer than it should be. So no, we do not get delays because of passengers running late. Because if you're running late and that door closes, the door closes when we have to take off. There's hundreds of other people on that aircraft who made it on time, and we have a schedule to keep. It costs the airline thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars when there's a delay, and all sorts of people's connections could be ruined, and so on and so on. So no, we do not take delays when guests are late. Is it annoying? I guess if I were really, really hungry or tired, but in general, no, it's not annoying because there's an allotted boarding time, and again, when that door is supposed to close, it closes. So no skin off my teeth. I do hope that everyone makes it on board, of course, but no, it's not too annoying. Although, again, if I'm really tired or really hungry, maybe. So there you go. There's a whole bunch of questions answered. I think that is a lot of questions and a lot of answers. And for me, not that long a time, because this video right now is only 27 minutes long. All right, so if I have not answered a question that you have, any burning questions that I haven't answered in this video or in other question and answer videos, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. My channel has been growing slow and steady over the past year and a half or so, actually a little bit more. It's been wonderful, and I love seeing my little family grow. And I just looked at my analytics, and 17% of people who are subscribed to my channel have clicked the little bell icon to be alerted when I post a video. So feel free, click that little bell icon so you'll know when I post a video. And I think that's it. I want to thank you very, very much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Fly safe. Bye. Yes, I winked just for you. Bye.